Agenda is like we'll be looking into UiPath Test Suite architecture, how the UiPath Test Suite architecture will look like, and what are the different products we have as part of UiPath Test Suite. And also we will have a walkthrough over the UiPath Test Manager. What are the advantages of UiPath Test Manager and how we can view our test cases or our test results. And we will see the ALM integration. ALM is nothing but application lifecycle management tool, where like the software applications development lifecycle will be tracked, like the requirements and test results and the bug trackings and all. And we will see a very simple test case scenario. I'm assuming that like most of you are already aware of UiPath Studio development, and we will build a simple test case and we will execute that back, and we'll see the results in the test manager, and we'll see the how integration between the UiPath Test Suite and test manager and orchestrator and studio, and also with the ALM tools. And not only like executing the test results, and from the studio also we can upload our test results back to the test manager, and also how we can execute the test cases from the orchestrator and see the results over, and we will execute the test cases from the test manager. So here we will be executing test cases from studio, orchestrator, and test manager as well. And we will see how the results are getting reflected into our UiPath Test Manager. And this is the overall architecture of UiPath Test Suite. So here we will be having the ALM tools, where we will be tracking all of our requirements of any application development and the defect tracking as well. And we have the test manager hub, which is a server sitting behind the test manager, which is a web application from where the user can interact with. And the ALM tools and the server will be integrated in a two-way communication manner. And our test manager is connected to or having an integration between the UiPath Studio and Orchestrator. It will not have any connection with the robots where the robot is executing. And from the Studio and the test manager hub, and from the orchestrator to test manager hub, the results will be uploaded. When the robot executes the test cases, it will send out the results to the orchestrator, and from orchestrator, it will be reflected back into the test manager. And we have the CI/CD integration also with UiPath, where when we are working on any application, and in case if we make any changes to the application, and when we push into the Git repository or Azure DevOps repositories, so as soon as the push was happened into the main branch, then we can have a trigger to execute our test sets. So this is how the CI/CD will help us, and that has an integration with Orchestrator. So this is the overall architecture of UiPath Test Suite. And let us come back. Hello. Yeah. So let us come back. So to access the UiPath Test Suite, we can directly go here, and here we can see test manager. In case if that was not available, the test manager is available, not available, then what we need to do is we need to go to the admin center, and under which tenant, if you want to enable your test manager, under the services, you can see the test manager here, and from here you can enable it. In case if it is not available from here, you can click on the add services, and from here you can add that test manager. So if it was not available directly under your tenant under the services, then you can add that service. And if it is not visible here, we can enable it from here. Let me disable for a while. So it was got disabled. And if I refresh this page, and if I come to the products, here I cannot see the test manager. So now if I enable it back, now it has got enabled. When I refresh this page, now I can see the test manager. So now let us go to the test manager. This is the overview of the test manager when we start initially comes to the test manager. And here we need to create the project. Under the settings, we have a different roles. When we are onboarding any user, we can assign these permissions, and the administrator will have access across all the projects. And we can have the read-only access as well for any of the projects. And in case if you are not an administrator, then when you create a project, it will be visible only to you. In later, it will not be visible to any other person unless and until you provide the permissions to access this particular project. So let us create a sample project. So we can give the prefix, and this prefix will act as a project key for you. And even though we delete the project and when we go for a creation of the project again, we cannot use the same prefix again. So it will be always unique specific to the tenant. So if I give it as RTP, and this will be allocated to this project, though I delete this project and I'm creating a new project also, I cannot give the same prefix. Create. So now project which is got created, and all of our test manager. Second. All of our test manager functionalities will be available only inside of our project. If we come out of any project, we cannot see any properties. The other thing is we can export this project and we can import the same project into any of the different instance of the test managers. Here there is an option to import a project. And let us come to our project. So here, this is the dashboard where we can see all of our test case results, how the test cases execution was happened, and we can have the coverage of activities, which activity is covered. And in case if we have any documents uploaded to this, we can have that under the attachments. So this is how the dashboard will look like, and we will come back once we execute the test case and the requirements. So for each and every test case, we will have a requirement. Like test cases, we will be writing based on some requirements we have for that particular functionality. So we can have our requirements here. We can create our own requirement. We can give the name and we can give the description and we can create the requirement. And alternatively, we can have these requirements get reflected based on the connections or the ALM integration connections we have. So for instance, if we are using Jira, so once we create a requirement in Jira, that will be automatically get reflected here. And the test cases, whatever the test cases we are going to develop or build as part of our requirement, those test cases will be reflected here. And it can be directly from the studio to, it can be directly linked from the studio to this particular project test cases by creating a new test case automatically when we are linking, or we can create our test case here and we can link that manually as well. And test sets is nothing but the group of test cases. And there is two options. One is we can create a test set here by selecting the test cases, or else we can have a test set created in the orchestrator, and that can be linked here in the test manager by clicking on this link. So either way, we can create the test set here in the test manager, or we can link the test case which is got created in the orchestrator as well. And test results is nothing but when we do the execution of our test cases, those results will be get reflected here, and we can see the test results for each of the test case or each of the execution. And the project settings here where we will manage all of our project. As I said, unless and until you give the permission to some other users, they cannot access your project. So this will be at a project level accesses. And even the integrations with any other applications is also at the project level. The reason is for some projects, you might be using some ALM tool. For some projects, you might be using a different. So for that reason, this is project specific. And except me, no one other person can access to this particular project in the organization. The other way is like if they are an administrators, then they can have access to this particular project. And when we come to the integrations, here is the place where we will be building the integration or a bridge between other applications or other products. Like for instance, here, in case if we are going with Jira, we will be establishing the connection between Jira and the UiPath Test Manager from the integrations. So let us go ahead and see how we can do the integration between Jira and UiPath Test Manager. So here is my Jira application. And here, let me create a new project. I'll go to the software development and I'll create the bug tracking. So when I create the project, key will be automatically generated. It is not necessary that we need to have the same key here and here in the test manager. So it can be different as well. So this key will be acting as a unique to your particular project in the Jira as well. So let me create a project. So to connect this particular project to our test manager project, what we need to do is we need to first install the UiPath Test Manager app for Jira. So for that, we will be coming here and click on Explore More Apps. Under this, we will be searching UiPath. If you see here, we have the UiPath Test Manager for Jira Cloud. We can select this. Click on Get App. Get it now. So it is getting installed. Let us wait for a while. By the time it will be get installed. In the meanwhile, let me open UiPath Studio. So to create our automation testing project, see, when we start with any of the project, we will be picking either from the new project template or the templates, whatever we build. And most generally in RPA, we will be using Robotic Enterprise Framework. When we will be building the libraries, we'll be selecting this library. But we are doing a test automation project, so we can select this. And do we need to select only the test automation project in order to do the test automation? It is not mandatory, but when we select this particular project type, all the required activities for the testing will be automatically get installed. In case if we choose to go with the blank process, there we need to install the test automation project activities. So let me create this. So this project creation and everything is similar to how we will be doing in native RPA development. And now our project is got created. If we come to the project, here if you see the dependencies, we have UiPath.testing.activities. And a blank test case is already got created. Let me open this. This is a blank. And let me do one thing. Let me delete this. And if I come to the activities, let us see the activities which are specific to the testing. Under the testing tab, we have, if you see here, we have the testing category. And under this, we have data, test data queues, and verification. So the verification activities are to reflect your test results back into your orchestrator or test manager. Because in a normal automation, we will be checking some validations. And in case if that are not matching, then we will throw a business rule exception. And if any application exception occurs, it will be a system exception. But in there, we will be checking and validating, and we will be updating the details back, and the appropriate action will be taken by the robots in the RPA development. But when it comes to test automation, we will be having two things. One is the expected value and the actual value. So here, these verification activities will validate whether the expected and actual values are same or not. If both are same, then it will be passed. And if both are not same, then it will be failed. So these activities will help us to directly update the results into our test manager with the test evidences as well. And the test data queues are when we are working with the multiple robots in parallel for the testing, or when we are doing a data-driven testing, the test data will be added to the orchestrator queues. Uh, sorry, orchestrator test data queues. We already have the queues, but along with that, we have the test data queues as well. And this test data queues will be activities will be utilized in order to get the data from the orchestrator test data queues. And we have the data activities where we have the activities to generate a synthetic data. When we call the synthetic data, it is not completely random data, but it is a fake data which looks to be realistic data. Because when we have some production data, we cannot utilize that for the testing, because the data, whatever we have in the production, that is, you might be having some sensitive customer data that cannot be exposed out to for the testing. But you need to have a realistic name of the customer. You may need to have the realistic address along with the pin code and all. So we will be using these activities in order to generate such a random data. So these are the additional activities which comes with the UiPath Studio to fulfill the UiPath Test Suite, or we can say the UiPath Studio to a UiPath Test IDE. Let us come back. So here the Jira Manager is got added. Now it is got added, and let us go to the project. This is my project, RPA Zone testing project. So the project is got created, and now we need, if I come back to the project and if I go down, let me refresh this. Here, if you see under the apps, I have UiPath Test Manager. So this plugin will help us to build the bridge between or integration between UiPath Test Manager and the Jira. Let me click on this. So we just need to click on allow access. We just need to give the permissions to read the requirements and to create the bug. So here we need to select which one you want to get reflected into the test manager. So when some type is created for this particular project, if I come back to the issues, here when we are creating an issue, we'll be selecting the issue type, whether it is a task, a new feature, epic, or improvement. So which one you want to get that to be reflected, right? So let me come back to UiPath Test Manager plugin. And here we need to select. So I want to select task, subtask, improvement, new feature, because all these are requirements, right? So whatever the requirement is got created, I want those to be get reflected into my test manager as a new requirement. And here we need to provide UiPath Test Suite or Test Manager URL and the API key. In order to get those details, we'll come back here and let me go here and create Jira Cloud. We need to provide the authentication. Jira. And we need to give the server URL. Server URL is nothing but this one, till .NET. Even you can skip this web URL. We need to provide the username and the API token. Let me come back here. This is my username. So let me give that. The email ID is the user. And we need to have an API token. So to generate the API token, let me go here. Generate API key for under this, we have this. We need to go to this id.manage profiles and create an API token. Click on create. An API token is got created. Let me copy this. And the defect type. When we are creating a defect type, we'll be selecting bug because in Jira, the defect type is bug. And we need to give the project key. Project key is nothing but when we create this project, let me come here. Here, if you see in the brackets, whatever we have, RTP, that we call it as a project key. When we are creating the project, next to that field, we have seen that key. So, which is nothing but this, whatever we have in the brackets. So, we need to give RTP. And click on create. So, the configurations from the UiPath Test Manager side is done. And we need to make the configurations in the Jira in order to have the integration. So, here, if you see here, server URL is nothing but this one. Till the test manager underscore. This will be our test manager URL. Copy. And the API key. API key is automatically got generated when we establish the connection between the Jira and the test manager. Copy this, paste it here, and click on save. So our Jira integration is done. And let us come back to issues. Now, so this is my project in the bug tracking tool, and here is my project. So let us come back. And now let me write a requirement. So we will go with the UI bank. As I said, like we will be going with very small use case, which is nothing but the login to this particular application, and we'll be checking whether the login is happening or not. Okay. So we need to enter the username and password. So let me write login got failed. Let me create an account first. Email already exists. Okay, let me come back to register only. Let us have a new account get registered for this, and we will test whether the registration was successful or not, so that the first registration will be successful. In case if we are going with the same account again, then it is going to be failed. So we need to provide the first name, last name, and all, and we need to go for the register. Let us come back here. We'll create a requirement, a task, or we can have a new feature, the registration functionality for UI bank. Let me take a new feature. Build registration functionality for UI bank. Description: UI bank application registration for unique users. If email already available, account should not be created. We'll just simply click on create. Click on come to the issues, all issues. So it was got created. And if I come back here, if I refresh this, requirement is got reflected. Whatever the details we furnished into the Jira application, those got reflected here, right? Now we need to build a test case in order to make the registration for this, right? So let us come here and let us build a sequence. In general ways, how we do in the RPA, right? In the similar way, we'll build a sequence. Registered user for UI Bank app. Click on create. So we are not doing as of now, we are not creating any test case, and we will be building simple workflow, and we'll convert this to the test case and we will see. And under this, let us go to the object repository and let us add a project application, UI Bank application. Create an application. And here we need to create a screen first. UI Bank registration page. Let us indicate it on the screen. And this is going to be my object for this particular application page. And inside this, we need to have the elements to be captured. So click on capture elements and click here, capture all elements. If you see here, all the elements are got captured. Capture. Okay, click on OK. So till what place we got selected? And after that, like whatever we have, the employee status and all, we don't have those, right? So let us scroll down to this employees. Let me save this first. And again, I'll capture the other details. Capture all elements. Let me click on capture all elements. So all these are got selected. Click on capture. Click on OK. So let us keep everything and later we can validate it. Let me click on save. And if I come back, what is missing? Only the register button is missing, right? So that I'll manually add it. Click on the create element. First indicate it on this register button. Confirm. What is this? Oh, we got the pop-up. Okay. Register button. Click on save. And let us come here. Let us see which elements are not required. What is this elements to? I don't think like these three are required. Highlight this element and see. We have no. So this is not required. When I'm scrolling, something got messed up and it asked. So these .exe things are not required and I can delete. And other details, we have everything. So now we'll just take use application or a browser. And from the object repository, I'll just simply drag and drop this. And now let us come back here. First name, title, middle name, and last name we need to have. First name, sorry. For the typing, right? We need. Why it is underside? Sorry. Okay. Let us drag and drop type into activity.
Hey. Hey.
And inside that, we'll have the first name. Again, one more type into last name. One more type into middle name or initial. Come back to this. And what do we have the next? Title. Come here. It is a drop down, right? So we need to come here and use the select item. Title here. And from here, so title is not captured properly. Highlight. It is getting highlighted, but it is getting highlighted as normal text. So let me delete or edit element. Confirm. Edit element. Type is drop down. Select. Let me drag and drop this title. Yeah, this is fine. Let us see. We'll use the type into because it is not allowing. Let it automatically get taken into. Let type into okay. Oops. Everything is got deleted. Sorry, guys. Delete this. Let me create a screen. Under this, capture elements, I can have the recording started. I can select first name. Then continue. Title. Then continue. Middle name. Save. Okay, let me go with type into now. How many type intos we may require? First name, last name, title, first name, last name is done. We need to get the middle name. Like this. Employment status, age, marital status, number of dependents, username, email, password. Second. We can have go with the standard as well. It's not a problem. And we need to click on register. So we developed our workflow and we need to have the values. Let me go with the first name. I'm giving hard-coded values as of now. We can pass them as an arguments as well. Okay. This is null. Status. So this is my workflow. We have created this and let us test this. We need to change some settings here because I don't want to close the workflow. after execution. And as of now also, I don't want to open it. If opened by app browser, if not open. So it is already open, so it will not open it. Let us run this flow. Oh, it got messed up. Okay. Where it is going mistakes, in the drop downs, it is not performing as expected. And the rest, everything is working fine, right? Let me click on register. So in case if it is get registered, we will be getting this, right? So we'll come to the project, and from here, we'll simply right click on this and create a test case and click on create. So here we got this. And in case if we are not giving the hard coded values, we can create the arguments, and from here we can pass in the values, because the given values will be taken up from here and those will be passed into the arguments, and we will validate the result. So for that, we need to have the verify statements or verify activities. So here, verify control attribute, because we are dealing with the UI automations. So we need to verify it. In case if you are getting this welcome to the UI bank family, which means our user is correctly, um, so our user is like uh, registration is successful. So for this, what we need to do is we need to have an app browser activity, and let me identify it directly. For instance, reuse. We already have that, so we are getting it, and we need to put inside of this, and in the activities we need to use get text. We just need to put here and click on this, and we can identify this. Confirm. In case if you are getting this text as equal to welcome to the bank, then this is the correct, or it will be passed, or else it will be a failure scenario. And now we observed a couple of things. Let us come back. It is not working properly in the drop downs. So let us change those. So one is this one. So here we will use select item. Confirm. And here I'll select Mr. And I'm just deleting this. And from the object repository also, I will delete this title. Yes. And I'll click on this, select item title, finish. Here, properties, sorry, object repository. See here, my new object is got created. So here we can ignore the middle name because we are not giving any input. So we can delete it. And here also we are facing this issue. So we need to use select item. Select item. Indicate. Identify this. Confirm. Well, I will delete that later. Select item, employment status, confirm. Here it will be full time. Let me delete this. What else? Marital status. You need to change this. I'll delete this marital status. I will ignore this number of dependents. So I'll keep it, all the things as it is. Okay. First, let me run this show. Now it is working as expected in terms of the UI actions. Now we are getting this error. That is fine. And let me come here. And from the test case, let me run the same flow. And let us see how we can see the results. Okay, let me refresh this page. Let me run this test case.
Hello?
Yes. It is waiting for the control attribute. So I'm expecting that to be failed. So I'm just waiting for a while. Should not go beyond 30 seconds. Let me do one thing. Let me reduce this time because it's taking a lot of time comparatively. Okay, before we execute, right, let me reduce this. Properties. Timeout, I'll just put only 300 milliseconds, which is 3 seconds. Okay. Ideally, it will be more time, but I'm just reducing it. And let us come back to the verify statements before we go further. So here we have a couple of informations, right? So here the to take the screenshot in case if it is got failed and if it is successful. So we can check both as well, because the reason is even if it is successful or a failure, we want to have a screenshot for this. Okay. And let me come here and click on OK, refresh and run this flow. This time we are expecting that like this will be completed very soon. Let me just put a 2 here. It is waiting till that happens. So it is successful. Okay, we will run this for failure scenario. And as of now, it was got successful, right? So what I want to do is I'll want to put some log messages in between. Info, register account, page open. Register account registration submitted. And here in the test case, verify statement, I will write. So we can write these messages in order to get reflected, but as of now, let us keep that aside. Oh, in seconds. Okay. Let me give it to 3 seconds. And let me run and see now again. It was not equal. So verification is failed. It taken some time. So meanwhile, we could not able to wait. Okay. Let us see how we can reflect these things back into the test manager. For that, we need to go to test explorer. And here is my test case. And we can rename this for the later execution. But for now, I'm just keeping it as it is. So to upload that, we can click on this, upload test results to the test manager. But before that, we need to connect our test manager. So what we can do is, we can go to the test manager settings, and here we need to provide the URL, which is still this underscore. Click on connect. Now it has got connected. Click on OK. And now we need to link this test case to the test manager. In between, in case if we click on this upload test results, it will ask to link this test cases. So come here and let me rename this. Test case registered account. Click on OK. Under the project, right click, link to test manager. Now it will ask for the project. We can just simply give the key RPA. In test case, whether you want to create it as a new test case or you want to link to the existing. So let us go directly in this. And here we have the requirement. We will be linking with that. Click on OK. So if I come back to the test manager and if I refresh this and come to the test case, here my test case is available. If I click on this, the name is same, like whatever we created in the file. And if I click on this assign to requirement, it is already linked to the requirement, because when we are linking itself, we marked. And now let us come here, come to the text explorer, right click, upload test results. Now the test results are got uploaded successfully. If I come here and refresh this, I can see the test results here. It just got failed. And even I can see those here as well. I can click on this. If you see here, it was executed from studio. That's the reason for which it was mentioned studio hyphen. And I can click on this. Here is my verification results. So because we can see the screen as well. Okay. And now this test case is got failed. If I come here, I have an option to create a defect. Click create defect. Defect is being created. If I refresh this, a defect is got created. Here, if I come here and if I refresh this page, I can see a bug which is got created, which is register account is got failed. If I come here in the bug, whatever is got created, I can see all my logs, whatever is happened. So this will be helpful. These logs will be helpful for the developer to look what went wrong for this application in this testing, and they can easily see this. And now let us come back. So we created this. So I want to test this from the test manager. So the problem here is from the test manager, if you come here and if you try to debug also, it is not available. And from the test manager, in order to run, you cannot run directly from the test case. You need to come here and you need to create a test set. Click on create. And under this, we can add this test case. Assign test cases, and we can select this. We can have multiple test cases to be added to a single test set, and a single test case can be added to multiple test sets. Sorry, single test case can be added to multiple test sets as well. Come here, click on automated. This will not be executed because this package was not yet uploaded to the orchestrator. That's why we need to have an integration between all these three. So if I come here under the testing, I could not able to see anything. So come here. Before we do that, what we need to do is we need to select this test case and we need to set as publishable. Then the color will change from the gray color to blue color. So we need to have our test case in a blue color, and then we click on publish. Publish. Okay. As soon as we published, and let me come to the test cases, I can see this test case. And if I come to the automations, process is automatically got created. Generally in RPA, when we publish the package, we manually create this process, or we will, when we re-release the process, we upgrade it manually. But here it will be auto upgraded, auto created. And if you see here, right, you have an option for a different process, but here you don't have an option to run because here we have only test cases. So I can come here, I can come to the test case. In case if I want to run only the test case, I can run it from here. I can have this animation.